Hello everyone, and welcome to the kickoff event for National Engineering Month 2018. Welcome. We're very excited to have everyone here with us today, joining in the celebrations and eager to get things going for the month of March. I am Rebecca White, so I will be walking you through some of the elements of the campaign, some highlights, some of the things that we want to share with you today. And I am supported by Erica Lee Garcia, who is part of the NEM support team. She's not here on the call with us today, but she is also eager to help you in any way possible, and also excited to get things started for National Engineering Month 2018. Also wanted to point out that here in Ontario, with National Engineering Month, the campaign is organized by a coalition of organizations. You can see their logos down at the bottom of the slide. We are bringing you all this great work together with OSS, who is the Ontario Association of Certified Engineering Technicians and Technologists. We also have Professional Engineers Ontario, Engineers Without Borders Canada, and the Ontario Society of Professional Engineers. So we're very pleased, grateful really to have such a great team that is helping to guide the campaign, grow the campaign, and make it stronger every year. So there's been a lot of work getting ready for March the 1st, 2018. There's been lots going on. I'm sure some of you on the call have probably been receiving emails from myself or Erica or other people that have been part of the support team in preparation for National Engineering Month. Leading up to today, in terms of webinars, we did have a few that really fantastic resources that we tried to make available to you. We talked about how to deliver inclusive outreach events. We had a guest host for that webinar. Marissa Sterling joined us to talk about the inclusion lens, which is a tool that was developed by the Lassonde School of Engineering in York University. So some great content there. Highly encourage everyone to check that out if you weren't involved in that webinar. We also talked about how to amplify your outreach event. So all kinds of hard work goes into setting up everyone's events, and we wanted to encourage you and arm you with different ways that you can scale that outreach beyond the things that are happening sort of in the immediate event that's surrounding you. So some great tips there if you are able to check that out. And of course, talking about volunteers, volunteers are critical to the success of the National Engineering Month campaign. We really couldn't make the campaign successful without you, without the volunteers supporting you. So we did spend a little bit of time talking about how to recruit volunteers, how to recognize volunteers, talked about some tips on training volunteers and engaging with them and empowering volunteers. So that was a couple weeks ago we talked about that. I encourage you to check that webinar out if you missed that one. And then finally, we wrapped up our webinar series talking about how to measure event effectiveness. So we use a tool, we use a scorecard system, a scorecard tool to help event organizers evaluate and gather learnings from their outreach events, and also collect data to help us as sort of a broader picture with the whole campaign understand exactly what's happening at all the events across the country so that we can continue to take a holistic approach and grow the campaign. So, as I said, lots of things have been going on, lots of work has been happening. Hopefully you found some value in those resources that we have made available to you. If you did miss any of them, the link to watch the replays of those webinars is down at the bottom of the slide there. So you can just go to the nemontario.ca website and go to the page for outreach resources, and you can find all that information there. But today is the day we officially launched the NEM campaign. So all the hard work has now kind of culminated into the celebrations beginning, I guess. There's a place for you. I'm sure you've heard us say this or read it somewhere, saw it on the posters, maybe on the t-shirts, in the graphics we have out on social media. So there's a place for you is the national campaign for the for National Engineering Month. So we really do everything possible to encourage that message to reach as many people as possible. We really, thinking about the roots of why we get so excited about National Engineering Month and why we believe in it and why we think it is important. We really want to help youth, help the general public know that there is a place for them. They are welcome in engineering and engineering technology. The doors are open. If that's something that is of interest to you, come on in and see what it's all about. So I mentioned that There's a Place for You is the national campaign theme. So here in Ontario, our approach to the organization of National Engineering Month is a little bit different than what happens across the provinces. I talked about the coalition of organizations we have supporting supporting all the work that goes on behind the scenes to bring the campaign out here in Ontario. So there's a lot of strategy involved with how we are executing on the engineering outreach that's happening. So a few of the things that we think are quite important here are consistent messaging. So coming back to that idea of there's a place for you, as well as some other tools we've provided to event organizers to help them standardize that messaging. You may have seen it on scorecards if you're someone who has access to the scorecards for your events. Us talking about the messaging and the messaging guidelines that we have available. And then I talked already about the criticality of the volunteers, really taking that grassroots approach to connect the engineers, the technicians, the technologists that are going out and facilitating events and planning activities and speaking at networking events and conferences. It really couldn't happen without the support of all those volunteers. So we do everything we can to try and support all the great work that's happening so that we can transform the public perception of the profession, of the engineering community, really, and by doing that, then inspire the next generation of engineering and engineering technicians and technology professionals. We also really do believe that by engaging at the sort of grassroots level with getting the messaging associated with the campaign out to the general public, it's also a way for the people within the system, the engineers and the technicians and technologists, on many occasions to reconnect with the reasons why they're doing what they do, why they chose the path they chose, what it is about their career, their profession that they love. So we think it's a pretty fantastic opportunity to have an impact at all these levels. So we get pretty excited about it, and we're really happy to be able to provide that support. Here's a little picture of what the NEM campaign has looked like over the years. So going back to 2015, you can see we had about 275 events happening across. This is across just Ontario, across the province here, and you can see that steady climb happening. 2016, continued growth into 2017. You know, we were excited to break the 300 number of events in 2016, and then grow that just above 350 in 2017. So a little peek into what we're looking at for 2018. We are expecting some substantial growth for the campaign in terms of number of events happening this year. We're pretty excited about that. I will go into a little bit more detail into what those numbers look like and how that's happening, or kind of why that's happening, so that you can have hopefully a clearer picture of where what's coming from. But really just sort of taking a step back and looking at this nice exponential type of curve we're starting to see here with a campaign we think is pretty exciting. So, you know, it's an indicator to us that the thing that we're doing some of the right things and taking the feedback and continuing to be innovative in the way that we are delivering outreach events and the way that we're supporting event organizers and bringing the campaign out to the general public. So this year, we're looking at right now potentially over 500 outreach events happening across Ontario. So that includes events run by OSS, PEO, EWB, and then other great organizers that have come to support and get on board with the campaign. In addition to OSS, PEO, EWB, and we're missing one. I just noticed on the slide that we're missing OSPE as well. So apologies, OSPE, we missed you up there in the list of acronyms. But definitely have all worked together to increase the quantity and quality of events that are happening throughout the month. And that translates into over 31,000 people, children, teens, adults, that will be connected through these in-person events. These are the real face-to-face events happening in the community centers, in the schools systems, in the libraries, you name it. This is where people are really connecting and receiving those messages that there is a place for them. And of course, we want to take time and are very grateful and want to communicate a big thank you to all of these sponsors that make National Engineering Month in Ontario possible. Their generous support is what allows us to be able to help the event organizers do what they need to do to bring their events to life, and all the work that goes on behind it. So, again, we really couldn't do it without the generous donations that we receive from our many sponsors. You can see that we have included in the campaign a lot of returning sponsors as well as new sponsors coming on board this year. So we're excited to see that, because it means, for those returning sponsors, they're seeing the impact. They're really connecting to that idea and wanting to stay involved. And then excited to see new sponsors joining us. Because it's, it tells us that the message is spreading. They're getting the word too, and they wanna get on the National Engineering Month on board and do what they can in terms of support to continue to grow the campaign year over year. So thank you again. Thank you very much to all the sponsors that supported National Engineering Month this year. So, of course, one of the resources that the sponsorship allows us to make available to NEM organizers are the National Engineering Month t-shirts and some of the swag that we get to send out every year. So hopefully some of you on the call today received some boxes from us in the mail in the last few weeks. So just wanted to take a moment to show the fun swag that we have available this year. We decided to go with the orange t-shirts and the blue and white graphics, which is, for those of you who might have been involved in last year's campaign, you might notice it's the inverse of what we had available last year. Some really fun graphics that we have made available this year. We're pretty excited about the design, and a lot of thought goes behind the different elements in the picture that you see on the front of the t-shirts, and would encourage you to use these as a talking point with some of the attendees at your events, and what the different elements of the t-shirts represent with respect to engineering and technology, and why that's important to you, and a great way to connect with people on that level. And if you did receive some of the National Engineering Month pencils, make sure you grab a hold of them tightly. They are actually mood pencils, so they do change color with the heat of your hands when you grab onto them. So we found that these pencils were hugely popular last year, so we brought them back in again for the campaign this year. So excited to be able to bring that fun swag to you, as well as swag that we have not pictured here, but swag that we have donated by sponsors as well. Another way, in addition to just financial contributions, they support us with donating things that we can use to bring to the events and hand out to the general public to help engage with them. So another great way to engage in the campaign, speaking of engagement, is by following along with our blog. We are, throughout the month of February, we were ramping up to some degree the number of posts that we were providing on the nemontario.ca blog. And we are going to be doing our very best to get as many posts up as possible throughout the month of March. So there's a lot of great content that we are excited to share, and we think it's a great place to just kind of keep your finger on the pulse, so that you can continue to share the ideas with your the people who care about it, the people in your networks who might be interested in some of that information. So there's everything on the blog, from sort of news style articles to profiles of different engineers, technicians, technologists. We put event write-ups on there, and I'm sure I'm forgetting some. There's other cool stuff that we have on there. So please make sure you check out the blog and keep checking it out. We do try to put posts up on our social media pages whenever we have a new blog post come out, just to let everybody know. But it's coming out fairly fast and furious now, so I'm fairly confident that if you check back every day or two, you'll be seeing some new exciting reading. As I mentioned, one of the things we like to do is post spotlights on various engineering technicians, technologists, engineering professionals. So we love to talk about the work that all these people are doing, and really put a face to engineering, technology, and enable some of those connections to happen, not just face to face, but online as well. Great place to tell some stories. So if you're interested in telling us your story, if you know somebody that you think would be good to be spotlighted on the National Engineering Month website, on the blog. We would love to hear from you. If you could send us a quick email and let us know, you can reach us there at nemontario@ewb.ca. If you are feeling a little intimidated about what you might say, don't worry about that. We have some prompts and questions that we can help you with to help create that narrative and that story. So look forward to hearing from you about that. Also wanted to point out that if you are looking to find the events that are happening in your area or across the province, to share them with someone perhaps, we do have an event listings page on the nemontario.ca website. So it's on the along the menu bar at the top of the website. You just click on event listings, and you'll find two ways that you can find events. So the first is a clickable map where you can sort of visually see where the events are happening across the province. And then if you do scroll down a little bit on that page, there is sort of a date-by-date listing, a chronological listing of the events, and those events are also searchable. So if you want to look for something, that's put on by PEO, you can search the PEO events or the OSPE events or the events that are targeted to the K-12 audience or events targeted to university students. It is all searchable that way. So hoping that that's a tool that will be of value to you as well. Other great stuff on the website. So I was talking about the webinar replays that are available on the Outreach Resources page on the website. So there's a lot more that is on that page other than just the webinar replays. So what I would encourage you to just have a look there, peruse through. There's all kinds of great content that we have made available to you. You can see a few of the items sort of listed in this screenshot I've taken here, but there's the NEM funding, the guidelines that if you want to refer back to that and maybe prepare for next year and get a little visibility into what that's all about, you can see that there. The messaging guidelines that I was speaking about in terms of the core messages that we promote for the campaign here in Ontario, that's available to you as a download as well. We have other sort of logistical support there. You can download some event photo video release forms. If you were an organizer that ordered a button maker or were approved for a button maker this year, we have made the button templates available to you. So you can find those there. And then there's, I'm sure there's more on that list. I'm not remembering off the top of my head, but there's also, as you scroll down through that website, there's links to other great places to find resources as well. So with that, I wanted to spend a little bit of time, the next sort of section of this kickoff webinar, talking about the partners and the great stuff that is happening with the events that they are putting on. So first off, we have the Ontario Society of Professional Engineers. So they are known for some fantastic events that are always a big hit, hot tickets. The first off is happening tonight, and that's the Purple Power event. So those of you who might remember the Purple Power event in previous years, what has happened is we've been able to light OSPE has been able to coordinate the lighting of the CN Tower purple to celebrate National Engineering Month. This year, in the spirit of reaching out across the province, the Purple Power event has made its way all the way up to Sudbury, where OSPE is going to light the big nickel purple. So really excited about kicking off National Engineering Month with that fantastic event. I know they have some really fun and exciting things planned there. So if you are in the Sudbury area and you are able to to stop by. I know that they would be very excited to connect. Some of the other great things going on with OSPE, the Nothing But NEM Raptors event. That one is it's a great networking opportunity and just a fun night to celebrate with all kinds of great peers around, and Raptors are doing well this year. We know that, so that was definitely one of the hot tickets. And just take a break and have some fun. So always looking forward to that event. And then they're doing some really interactive stuff across the province here. So NEM in Niagara Falls, NEM at the CN Tower in Ottawa, Sudbury, Thunder Bay. You can see the picture on the right-hand side is from one of their NEM events last year. Lots of really great hands-on activities. Great chance to really engage with a broad audience there. So if you're looking for any more information about any of those events, you can find them all on the event listings page. If you like, you can just do a filter for OSPE and find those. Another first this year, OSPE was involved as well as the Engineering Student Societies Council of Ontario, ESCO. So they worked together to bring to the campaign the first annual ESOC, is what we called it, the Engineering Student Outreach Challenge. So this was an opportunity to engage sort of at a deeper level with the universities across the province, have some fun, putting on some fantastic outreach events, get a little bit of that competitive spirit, bring that into the campaign as well. To see what can come out of these outreach events, what creative new ways, innovative new ways can student teams from various universities work together to bring the messaging, there's a place for you, to the general public in their areas. So it was a first try this year, first annual, as I mentioned, and we were very excited because we got teams registered from, you can see here, quite a few different universities. We have Lakehead, UOIT, Waterloo, Western, Windsor, and then there's even multiple teams within some of those universities. So very excited about that response. The teams are competing together for, I guess, bragging rights, but also a cash prize is offered. If you're interested in finding out more details about the Engineering Student Outreach Challenge, there is a page dedicated to that with lots of information on the nemontario.ca website. So you can read more about that. You can, maybe support them by going to some of their events, or get involved in volunteering, or maybe you're a student and you want to start thinking about it, getting involved for next year. So never too early to start the planning, for sure. The next partner is PEO. So for Professional Engineers Ontario this year, we have 26 chapters participating across the province, putting on 68 events. So I don't have the numbers in front of me, but I'm pretty sure that's above what they put on last year. So continuing on that theme of growth for the campaign. Happy to have some long-standing contributors to those events. You can see a few of them listed here. We've got those, and then many other returning chapters. Getting up to that number, that 26 number, is just sort of getting too many to even be able to list. So really excited to see the engagement at the chapter level happening, and everybody getting really excited and continuing to improve and innovate on the way that they're delivering their outreach events, and bring those quality events to the public year over year. Here's the list of chapters that we have involved in the campaign this year that have let us know that they're putting on events or connected with us in some way. So again, just very excited to see that engagement happening at the chapter level. And bringing that opportunity to their communities, to their networks, to celebrate their profession, and they're doing it in person. A lot of the chapters are getting online and expanding and amplifying their messages throughout the month that way as well. So lots of great things happening. Again, if you want to find one of the PEO chapter events, I would encourage you to check out the event listings page, and you can do a search on PEO. We also encourage collaboration, and so we do want to recognize that we see some collaboration happening between lots of organizations. Specifically, wanted to call out here the collaboration happening between two of the partners, between PEO and OSS. So you can see the list there of where two groups are coming together to deliver some great outreach, again, across the province. When you look at the locations there, so always excited to see that happening. Some of the messaging around the campaign is diversity and inclusivity, and so when we see the collaboration happening between different organizations, it gets us really excited, because that means that we've got, or the organizers really have a diverse group of thinkers involved in setting up their, and planning their events. So that really means that they're going to consider things they may not have considered in the past, and that's just going to continue to evolve and improve the outreach that's happening. OSS has 12 chapters participating this year, running 54 events across the province. OSS is also very proud of and as they should be, of the College Challenge. It is now in its fifth year, with 10 teams participating from 6 different colleges across the province as well. So it runs similar to the Engineering Student Outreach Challenge that I described, that is being brought to you by OSFI and ESCO. The College Challenge now, they've been doing it for a few years, so there's lots of engagement. We get teams approaching us without us even having to kind of promote it now. So it's becoming a thing that college students know happens, and they get excited. They start planning for it well in advance of the events even happening. So they're continuing to develop their skills that they need to put on great outreach events, which we really believe is an exciting opportunity for development of the students, and at the same time delivering great outreach to the community and connecting with the colleges and networking with local OSS chapters. So it's really just a win-win-win-win. The College Challenge also is built somewhat on that competitive spirit idea, and teams are competing for a cash prize and OSS membership. If you're interested in finding out about the winning team from last year, there's a picture of them at the bottom of the slide here. You can also go to the College Challenge page on the nemontario.ca website, and you can find a link to all the teams that participated last year, and some of the highlights from their events. So I would encourage you to check that out to see what's going on in the colleges. And for the OSS chapters that are participating, so what I've done here is list out the chapter run events, and then as well the chapters that are participating sort of via support for the College Challenge teams. So the chapter run events, you can see we have Durham, Georgian Bay, Niagara, Thunder Bay, Toronto East and Central. Even within their own chapters, we're seeing collaboration happen, so we're really excited to see that. And then the support that's being provided at the chapter level to the College Challenge teams has been really positive as well. A great opportunity for engagement, for getting involved, lots of learnings that can happen. so we're really, really pleased to see the College Challenge continue to grow and develop year over year. Our partner, EWB, Engineers Without Borders Canada, so they participate in the campaign in a few different ways, quite a few different ways. One of those ways being Water for the World. So Water for the World workshops make up a significant portion of the engineering outreach events that EWB puts on. So if you haven't experienced a Water for the World workshop, I would encourage you to try and find one in your area, or at a minimum, maybe go onto the EWB Toronto Pro Chapter's website and click through to the information that they have about Water for the World, so you can find out what it's all about. But it's a really fantastically designed outreach event that looks at educating students about clean water access issues, but it's done in a way that allows the students to engage at quite a deep level in terms of, the technology of building water filters, but at the same time understanding the global issues that impact that seemingly relatively simple task. So I don't want to go too much into the detail of the workshop itself. You can see it's now going into its second decade, which speaks to the quality of the content of that workshop. So we're pleased to have that continued relationship and resource really made available to the general public through the EWB Toronto Pro Chapter. They do work with the Toronto Public Libraries to bring those workshops to students in the area. This year they've also expanded the scope to some degree and have started offering the Water for the World workshops directly to schools through PEO's Engineer in Residence program. So if you're interested in finding out more about that, please feel free to contact us, and we can give you a bit more information about what that looks like. It's sort of in a pilot stage at this time, so there's limited availability, but it's a great way to continue to scope and scale and amplify a fantastic workshop. Participating EWB chapters across the province. So you can see the list down the left-hand side there. But that list of chapters is putting on 60 events, reaching looks like about 4,700 youth and general public across the province. So, lots of teamwork and hard work being put into developing some really engaging and meaningful events happening through the EWB chapters. Of course, then we have those quote-unquote other event organizers I mentioned. So really, the list of other event organizers is really just enormous, too long for me to be able to put on a slide or two. So I just wanted to recognize that there are all kinds of other organizations, individuals, you name it. There's a school board you can see on here, all kinds of ways that people are engaging with the campaign, which is just fantastic to see, and we want to continue to develop and strengthen these relationships. A few words about innovation funding. So this idea of innovation funding was introduced a few years ago now, and the idea was really to incent event organizers to think about the way that they're delivering engineering outreach. So instead of doing the same activity year over year, maybe including some new elements into it, or tweaking the design a little bit, or maybe being totally innovative and doing something totally different. But thinking about how, we spend a lot of time thinking about how we can be innovative in designing, designing our cell phones or designing whatever the latest technology is. But we wanted to take that same train of thought and apply it to the way we're delivering the outreach to youth and the general public. So the idea of incenting that type of thinking with innovation funding started, and it has been very successful. We've seen a lot of different ideas coming to light with the through the event organizers, through the visibility that we get to have through the funding application form process. The quantity of requests that we're getting for innovation funding continues to grow. So, that's something that's telling us that things are catching on. Event organizers are excited to try new things, and we're excited to be able to support them in trying those new things with the innovation funding. One of the new innovations that we experimented with this year was the idea of school kits for National Engineering Month. So we just sort of put the idea out there that we would provide some school kits to teachers if they were interested in being part of the campaign during March. And that idea really took off. So we reached out sort of through our network, through our channels, to get the word out there. And I'm very excited to say that we now have had over 200 teachers across the province connect with us, register with us to receive school kits so that they can be part of the campaign. They can bring the messaging to their students in a fantastic way. So school kits were, the innovation funding was something that enabled these school kits to be designed and implemented this year to see where, sort of how we can continue to scale the way that we're doing outreach and getting these messages out. We also rebranded a little bit the offering from last year. We called it Scale and Innovation. So it was rebranded this year to Pre-Designed NEM Events. So again, the idea holds true here of wanting to offer innovative ways of connecting with youth and the general public to bring them these outreach events. And we also wanted to try and find a way to kind of reduce the barrier to entry. So if there's somebody who's interested in maybe organizing an event but just doesn't know where to start, the idea of these scale and innovation ideas, so something that's worked really well in the past, scale it to other event organizers, or as we call it this year, pre-designed NEM events, that's where that's coming from. So this year we offered 3 pre-designed NEM events to try and have an additional resource available to potential event organizers. So the 3 events, the 3 pre-designed NEM events we offered this year are the Button Maker, Youth Connect events through Inspire, and Storytelling to Connect. So you heard me talk a little bit about the Button Maker when we were looking at the outreach resources page, but it's a great tool to have to bring with you to different engineering outreach activities or events. It's a great talking point. It's a great souvenir. Kids love them. There's always a huge line at the Button Maker, and it gives them, they can take the messaging that we've been talking about, really just take it away with them. They can wear it on their jacket, on their backpack, or wherever. But it's been a really big hit, so we were excited to be able to offer that again this year. The Youth Connect kits that were designed by Inspire, also very high quality events, fantastic training development, or training, resources that are kind of embedded into the kits, and they're always a hit with anyone that tries them out. So this is a nice sort of packaged idea here where the work's sort of been done for you. The materials are put together, the script is there, so you don't have to, you can focus on things like how you're creating a great experience for the audience, because the work of designing the activity is done for you with the Youth Connect kits. And then Storytelling to Connect was, it's being brought to you by Story Star. And this was an innovation event that happened last year where engineers got up on stage and started to tell their stories. So it was put on by a professional storyteller named Erin Rogers, and she worked with various engineers, technicians, technologists, coach them on how to tell their stories. So not always a skill as engineers that we get to practice too often. So it was a great opportunity to, again, put a face to the profession, put a face to the engineering and technology community, and connect with the general public in a very real way through stories. So we were so impressed with the event that she put on last year that we collaborated with Erin this year to put together this idea of Storytelling to Connect, where she is, Erin herself is working to coach the event organizers and the people that are going up on stage and help them. She's put together some material to help train them on what they need to do to be able to put on great storytelling events. So some really fun pre-designed NEM event ideas this year. And so I'm sure as the month goes on and we get to see all the great tweets and Facebook posts and emails that come in, we're excited to see the feedback that we get with regards to these. NEM in the media. So we're just kicking off here, but already starting to see, this is a screenshot from some of the media, sort of earned media that we saw last year, but always fun to keep an eye on that news tab and keep an eye on what's being reported for National Engineering Month 2018. We do our best to try and keep our finger on the pulse. But if there's something that you see, then please feel free to share it with us. There's our email address again, nemontario@awb.ca. So we welcome hearing about all those stories. If you are inclined to do your own event write-up about your own event, we're more than happy to take those as well, and we can post them on the blog or use them online. And of course, encourage you to continue using the hashtag NEM 2018 so we can find all the great things that are going on. So at the heart of NEM and 2018, and really NEM every year, are the volunteers. I spent a little bit of time way back in the beginning talking about how critical the volunteers are to the success of the campaign. It really, honestly, would not be possible without them. So very grateful for the support of those volunteers. They really do make a world of difference. So big thank you to all of you. And we want to wish you all a happy National Engineering Month 2018. Thank you very much. You can reach us many different ways. Encourage you to interact with us on social media. So we have lots of people connected to us, but always love getting some interaction. Tag us, tweet at us. Put a post up about us, about your event, and tag us, or whatever it takes. We love to interact with you on social media. We're happy to retweet and like and continue spreading the word about all the celebrations happening across the province. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to us. we're here to support you. Thank you very much.